We could do double.
So 3.3, they named this completing the square, the section, okay, but we're really just solving quadratic equations. Okay, we're just learning another way. Right now, the three ways that we know are to graph, what's another one? Algebraically, or factoring. Okay, those are the three we know. The first example I'm going to do, we're going to do it factoring, and then we'll learn a fourth way called completing the square. Okay, but just a refresher here. So I have x squared plus 30x plus 225 equals 121. Okay, so it's a little bit different than what we've been seeing, because what we've been seeing, we either already had it equal to 0, or there was no c and it was equal to another number. Okay, that doesn't matter. Just get it equal to 0. Okay, so we subtract the 121. So I have x squared plus 30x plus 104 equals 0. Okay, now I have it in standard form. Now I can start checking. Okay, can you solve this algebraically? No, that would probably be the easiest way if you could. Okay, second easiest way I would say is factoring, because nobody really wants to graph every single problem, right?
You're right.
Okay, so can't solve it algebraically, so let's factor it. What do I have to do to factor something?
Find a common number.
Okay, find two numbers that
Multiply to C and add to B.
good. Multiply here, add here. So what two numbers multiply to 104 and add to 30? 26 and 4. So, since they're 26 and 4, it would be x plus 26 and x plus 4. Okay, still equal to 0. Now last class they quickly told me the answers then x equals negative 26 and negative 4. Okay, that's great if you can take that quick shortcut and get that. You do need to understand how we got those though. How did we get those?
Set each x plus number equal to
Set each binomial equal to 0. So I have x plus 26 equals 0. Subtract 26, x equals negative 26. X plus 4 equal to 0. Subtract 4, x equals negative 4. Again, you might not have to do that when it's easy like this one, but sometimes they'll throw harder things at you and you'll have to make sure you know to set them equal to 0. Okay? So that's basically exactly what we did in, was that the last section? 3.1, 3.2, maybe? Those two, right? Okay. Well, this is 3.3, yeah. I don't remember which section was which, but yeah. We've solved them like this already, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because section 2, you're right, was imaginary numbers, huh? So it was 3.1. Okay, so if that's possible, well, first of all, check that. See if you can do it. If you can't do that, if you can't factor it, you're going to have to do what we're going to do next. Okay? These are factorable. If this number was like 100, is there anything that multiplies to 100 and adds to 30?
No.
No, not factorable. This is when we're going to complete the square. Okay? Now, they do give us a little completing the square info, just basic, before we actually have to solve an equation. Okay, so what we're doing, and I'm going to set this up, so what we're going to try to do is we're going to take a function, a quadratic, and we are going to find what c value would make this factorable. Okay? So we're going to like plug in a c that would make this into a factorable quadratic.
Are we going to set it equal to 0?
Not yet. We will in a little bit. Okay? So we have to find a new C value. If you look under the core concept on completing the square, it's on the bottom page of 112, where it says words, it says to complete the square for the expression x squared plus bx, I need to add what? B over 2 squared. So instead of C, I need to take my function, and to find a square that works with this, I need to add b over 2 squared. Okay? And by doing this, we will turn this problem into, or find, in this case, find a C value that allows us to factor the problem. Yes?
So we're doing this if there's already no C?
We are doing this if there is either no C, or in a second we're going to do it if we got it like this and it was not factorable. Okay? So right now what we're doing is they're doing baby steps into it. They're allowing you to find a C that works, and then we're going to take this information and we're going to use it to solve. Okay?
Why
So
can't you just, like, for C, why can't you just do, like,
Why can't you just find
7
two
and 2
numbers?
and then add them together?
What? Why don't you just
2.6.
divide that by 2?
What if we had put something weird in there?
Divide by 2.
Divide it by 2. Make that your C value.
1.3. Easy.
Doesn't work like that. What multiplies to 1.3 and adds to 2.6? It's not 1.3 and 1.3, because 1.3 times 1.3 is not 1.3. Okay? So it doesn't work. Okay? Sometimes you can just look at these and figure them out and think about it. If you use b over 2 squared, it will work every single time. Okay? So, if this is the case, what is b currently? 14. And I'm going to write out every single step these first couple times. So I have 14 over 2 squared. Okay, we just keep reducing. X squared plus 14x plus 7 squared, right? Okay. Now we're gonna keep going on this, but I'm gonna bring this over here. I'm gonna show you a shortcut here in a minute. I'm just gonna show you that this does end up working though. Okay, so we keep going. X squared plus 14x plus 49. Okay, now let's factor that. Okay, what multiplies to 49 but adds to 14? 7 and 7. So I have x plus 7, x plus 7, which I can rewrite as
X plus 7 squared.
x plus 7 squared. Okay? And that would be our we completed the square and we factored it all the way out.
But then you have to
This is
say
not the
equals
answer,
0.
right?
That would be the answer, x
Why
plus
is it
7
not?
squared. Now, we're not solving anything right now. Okay? We are just completing the square with a number that's makes this factorable and then factoring it.
Are we going to solve it today?
Okay? So in this case, if they asked what would C have to be, then I would say it's 49. Okay? C has to be 49, and if I factored it out, that would be x plus 7 squared.
Why is it not -7, -7?
Because that would add to a negative 14. -7 and -7 would add to a negative 14.
Well, you know when you put in the thing and it's like x equals, you know, like you give the two values.
Why aren't we doing
Well,
that?
yeah, if I wanted, because we don't have an equal sign right now.
Oh.
There's no equal sign. This is not an equation.
So
This
that's
is just an expression. And they just gave me this, said complete the square and factor it. There is no answer to this because there's no equal sign. There's no solution to this problem. Now, the shortcut that I want to show you. Notice, before I square this, everybody with me? Before I square this number, so I already divided by 2, but before I square it, it's a positive 7, right?
Oh, sure enough. Wow.
Positive 7.
Every time.
That will work every single time.
I
So,
love that.
in the future, we can go straight from here to here.
Big mood.
That's a positive 7, that's a positive 7.
In fact, then you don't have to go so
Wait,
fast.
that's a
So,
good move.
Then you don't, yeah, so what's that saving you from? That's saving you from having to square it and then factor it also. So you don't have to factor it anymore.
what?
Okay? You just have to square
Sorry,
it.
that's not, that piece is not. I'm
Good?
not facing it the other way.
Okay? So you're saving squaring it and then factoring it back out by doing this. Okay? So let's do another example. I'm going to do a different example than I made up in the last class, because the last class I ended up doing something twice. So if I have x squared minus, well, let's do something a little bit bigger. Let's do minus 22x plus c. They want us to find the value of c to complete the square and factor it. Okay? So instead of c, I need to use
B over 2 squared.
b over 2 squared, which in this case b is negative 22
Oh,
over 2 is going to give me
11.
Negative 11.
Negative 11.
negative 11 squared. Okay, if you want to take that extra step and write negative 22 over 2, that's fine. Do whatever it takes. I don't care. Hey, if you're ready to skip that step, I'm okay with that as well. Okay. From here, what I just showed you, is it necessary to square this?
No.
I should be able to just go right to my factored answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my factored answer is going to be x minus 11 squared. Okay. Now, if they happen to ask you for the c value is not negative 11 though, right?
Yeah.
C is equal to 121, correct? So just be aware of that. That's something that does trip some people up. Okay, so C is the value that makes that a perfect, or completes this square. This is the factored form of it after we complete the square. Okay. We're going to use that information to be able to solve those quadratic equations that we used to have to graph. Okay? So if you get good at this, you can do it in 2 steps basically, right?
Yeah.
Now with your equation, there's a few extra things you have to do, but it's still not bad. So yes, you can avoid graphing completely. Okay? So, taking a look here, I've got 2 examples of this, and then you're going to try to work on your assignment. X squared minus 18x plus 5. Make sure I got that right. Yeah. Equals 0. Now, that doesn't mean go straight to this. You should still try to factor it if you can, because then that's going to be the easiest way. Okay? First of all, I know I can't solve this algebraically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to factor it. Is there anything that multiplies to 5, adds to negative 18?
No.
That one you should probably be able to see pretty quick, because 5 is a prime number, so it's just 1 and 5. And obviously that doesn't add to 18. Okay? Now, when we were completing the square, we were finding our c value, right? We already have a c value, it's 5. Okay, so that creates a very minor issue. All you need to do is just get rid of it, move it to the other side. I like to leave a space there, and now I have negative 5 over there. So now I can find my new c value that's factorable. Okay. So filling in for my c was done how?
B over 2 squared.
B over 2 squared. Well, b is negative 18 over 2 squared.
Hot.
Okay. However, back in elementary school, you learned with equations, if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. Okay? They are equal. If you only do it to one side, you've now completely changed your problem. If you add it to the other side as well, if I subtracted it, they just cancel each other out. Right? Okay, so that's why you do things to both sides, because all you're doing is writing your equation in a different way. They would technically cancel each other out if you needed them to. Okay? So now, this side I have x squared minus 18x plus negative 18 over 2 is negative 9 squared.
81.
Okay, and I'm not going to mess with it on this side any further than that because I can factor it easily from here using our shortcut, right?
Oh.
Okay, now on the right side, negative 5 plus,
81.
I'm going to get negative 9 squared, but I'm going to have to add it to 5, so I might as well just turn it to 81, right? Okay. So now we should be able to take this side, and it's going to factor to x
Minus 9 squared.
minus 9 squared, and this side adds to 76. Okay, so what we have done is we have turned this into a problem that now we can finish out solving algebraically. Okay, what do I need to do to this?
Foil.
Square root both sides. Okay, we can go shorter way, we can do it algebraically, right? So I can square root both sides because those are going to cancel. So I have x minus 9 equals what?
Square root of 76.
Close. Plus or minus the square root of 76. Add your 9. X equals positive 9 plus or minus. Now, before I write that last part, we should probably do what with that 76?
Break it down.
Break it down.
Break it up.
What do we need?
9, 7,
No?
3.
No. 3's not a perfect square. 7's not a perfect square. 8's not a perfect square. 6 is not a perfect square.
2.
16 doesn't work.
Is 2 a perfect square?
4.
4 and what?
19.
4 and 19.
Never.
Well, you're guessing a bunch of numbers that are not perfect squares. Yeah, you're going to make it difficult. Square root of 4 is?
Oops.
2. So I have 2 square roots of 19. So, my answer, x equals 9 plus or minus 2 square roots of 19.
There it is.
Okay. Now,
That's not very positive.
please understand, because there's a little confusion last class. When you type this into your big ideas, this is what it looks like. Okay. X equals 9 plus 2 square roots of 19. X equals 9 minus 2 square roots of 19. Okay, just understand that it's going to be probably in that form, so you'll have to enter it separately. Okay. We're going to do one more of these.
Oh.
Yes.
We're not going to put like I in here or anything, right?
I guess. Like I'm trying to.
Okay.
Oh, that's my cat.
Not really like that thing that you're making right now.
It's not that hard.
All I is just negative.
I just squared a negative 1.
I
Alright.
think that we should meditate at least once a week because this is some stressful.
Okay, sure, do it. I don't care.
In your class?
No,
That's what I'm saying.
you didn't say that. That's not what you were saying.
You're supposed to.
Okay. X
Yes.
times. Hey, take notes.
I've been taking notes. What are you doing? 70 notes on past day plus one two. It's hard time.
Alright, now, this looks a little more difficult, but everything we did today was in standard form, right?
Yes.
Distribute your x, let's get it in standard form then. Okay?
Good idea. Good idea.
So I should have x squared plus 8x And I'm going to go ahead and just briefly move this 20 over here, because if it's factorable, then that's going to be easier, right? Okay? So just quickly, anything multiplied to 20 add to 8?
No.
No. Okay, so I'm going to put the 20 back on the other side where it was, right? Okay. So now we got to fill this in with what? B over 2 squared, which would be 8 over 2
Squared.
which is 4 squared, right? But if I did it to the left side, I got to do it to the right side. Okay. So this left side factors to
X plus 4 squared.
x plus 4 squared equals, and that 4 squared we know is 16, right? So negative 20 plus 16 is negative 4.
Wait a second.
Hot dog.
That would be my problem.
Finish solving that out. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes here. Shouldn't take that long. But finish solving that out.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
I think this is right, man.
This one has an imaginary.
No, it's not. You lied to me.
Did you record Friday's lesson?
I don't know if everything's still
Did it
recording
stop my
now.
recording?
No, it's still going.
I don't know.
You're good. It's still
Wait,
going.
wouldn't it be X plus I?
Did you record Friday's lesson?
I don't remember.
I got X equals.
Yeah, I think I did.
No,
and I
that's the day
posted
the
it.
power went out.
Wait, what?
No, it's not. No.
I don't know. What day did the power go out?
That was like Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't on Friday.
All right.
I know.
Sounds like there's a lot of chatter, so we must be at least close. When I square root both sides, right, I get x plus 4 equals plus or minus square root of negative 4, which is 2i. Good. So then I subtract 4. X equals negative 4 plus or minus 2i.
Wait, so it's
Hey, does that answer your question about imaginary?
Yeah. That's not hard.
Oh, it's not bad.
Not any harder, right?
perfect.
Okay. All right. So, everybody was with me. And the only difference that might have made that one easier than the last problem is you didn't have to actually reduce the radical. It was a perfect square, right?
Oh, it's not.
All right. So, what I need you to do is you should now be able to solve through problem number 29 in your assignment.
Oh, are you still submitting it?
It's good number.